Karma. That is all I've got to say, because 20 plus years ago, Microsoft abandoned PC gaming. They went all in on the Xbox. They went all in on the console space. They didn't care about playing on computer. They left that behind to chase the big bucks, compete with the PlayStation. And on PC, what did we have? Games for Windows Live. It was a disaster. It was only Steam that really saved it. And despite all that, 20 plus years after the Xbox coming out, it looks like Xbox as a brand might be just about dead. It's not looking too good. Sure, it might continue in a third-party form, but who knows what is going on with the console side of things, because as we can see in this tweet, Xbox have a big announcement very soon, which is likely very much going to confirm all these rumors that are doing the rounds, suggesting that Xbox are going third-party. They're going to stop with exclusives on Xbox like Starfield, and they're going to start putting all their games on the PS5, possibly the Switch as well. Now, as a PC player, this doesn't really mean a whole lot to me as a gamer, because I already play on PC. I can access Starfield, all of Microsoft games. Sadly, I kind of wish Starfield was locked away, so I didn't have to experience it, but of course I did. However, even though it won't really affect me right now, it is still very interesting, and I want to talk about a few things. Most of us know about this news, but I want to talk about what it means, and I also want to talk about how this happened, because I really do think that Starfield might have been the catalyst that led to this change in direction. There was definitely a time where Phil Spencer and the team, they thought that Starfield, Bethesda were going to be the saviors for them. They talked about how great it was going to be having the Elder Scrolls 6 as an exclusive. Sony weren't going to get it. If you wanted to play their games, you had to buy into the Xbox ecosystem, whether it was Game Pass or playing on PC. You couldn't play it on a Sony console. That wasn't going to happen. However, something did change. And what I really think it is you can go back about 12 months ago, and the writing was kind of on the wall. The clues were there. Phil Spencer himself, he did an interview that I was surprised wasn't more widely covered, where he said that even Starfield wasn't going to change the results of Xbox sales numbers. They weren't going to be able to beat PlayStation. Making great games was not enough. And it sounded really stupid. If you do remember that, you were sort of thinking, where's the confidence? Are you throwing in the towel? Well, what I honestly think, after all this time of hating on Starfield and criticizing it, I truly believe that Microsoft and Bethesda knew to some extent that Starfield was a dud long before it came out. It's kind of like Redfall, right? Where Phil even acknowledged, yeah, we kind of knew that Redfall wasn't good. We thought it was going to get 7 out of 10 reviews, which is really low for mainstream critics. We're not talking about using the 1 to 10 scale. A 7 out of 10 is pretty bad, and it didn't even get that. It was getting 5, 6s, if not lower. I think it was the same for Starfield. And the big clue for that was Todd Howard coming out to say that Starfield was not fun until 12 months before it released. I think there was some truth to that, but also some lies into that. He's not going to come out and say, the game was never fun, it sucks. He's got to try and appease his master. He's a pretty good salesperson. He can try and sell it, but I think he knew deep down that the game was never fun. 12 months before release, they hit the panic button. They sort of went, you know what? This game we've built, this new IP, it was a bad idea. 1 million planets with nothing on them. We've taken out exploration. The only real good thing about our games, our biggest strength, we've killed that. What are we going to do? I believe that Microsoft knew it wasn't going to be very good. Again, same with Redfall. They did the exact same thing. They knew Redfall was going to be a dud. They released it anyway. I kind of feel that they had some sense internally. They had that insight that Starfield wasn't going to be a big juggernaut, and it was not going to move Xboxes. It certainly wasn't going to result in more Game Pass subscriptions. And that's Microsoft's big issue. The reason they're potentially going third party is because Starfield didn't increase or boost those numbers. Most people who played it, they already owned an Xbox console. They already had a Game Pass subscription. I wouldn't even be surprised if they've made more off these Steam sales than what they have off Xbox, because most of the people playing it, they already had an Xbox console and they were already subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate or whatever it is. And unless people are buying in, Microsoft don't care. If you're an existing Xbox user with a subscription turned on, then you're not making any money for them when you play Starfield. They're disappointed. They only want new people in, and that's just not happening. So it's the big reason that these rumors are likely true, that they're putting Indiana Jones on the PS5. They're doing the same with Gears of War, all these different rumors, Halo and so on going around. And they're happy to screw over the people who bought into it, because Microsoft have done this for many years. They've done it with, say, the Windows Phone. They've had heaps of other apps, Mixer and whatever else. Obviously not as big as the Xbox, which has been here for 20 years, but they're not really going to care. Xbox has never been their main business. They could switch it all off tomorrow and barely blink an eye. So it's almost definitely going to happen. The only thing here is how they're going to share this news, because they're in damage control right now, and what I can tell you is they're not just going to come out next week and say, hey guys, the Xbox is dead, don't waste your money and buy one, don't build up your digital library, that's going to be a big mistake, we're putting the games on PlayStation, go and buy one of those, or buy our games on PC, one or the other. They're not going to do that. They're not going to be that honest and transparent. Because keep in mind that right now, even with things going kind of badly for them, with Game Pass numbers stagnating, no one's buying their consoles, they've still got a reasonably big user base, and every time someone buys a third-party game, they get 30%. Every time you buy one of the Xbox games, they get 100%. It's probably the same with microtransactions in games and so on, so that they don't want to kill that cash cow immediately. What they're going to do is they're going to convince their fans who seem to lap up everything. Until now, I don't think I've ever seen Xbox fans angrier, but they're going to try and convince people that it's all okay. They've got a new strategy. It's all about making games available, because if people can play their games, then everyone's a winner. We're all winners if we game together. It's going to be that sort of nonsense, and some people will buy into it. It doesn't matter how many times they're rooted up the arse by this company, they'll still believe them. But please don't, because you should really have lost all confidence in this brand. They want to take a staged approach. They're not just going to remove Xboxes from shelves. They'll probably still release them to some extent, because they won't want to go down the path of switching everyone's digital libraries off and them basically being to blame for everyone being reluctant to go down the digital purchase pathway because you're scared of losing your library. That's what some people are worried about with Xbox, that they're going to lose access to everything. It's not going to be that. I think they're going to gently push people away to some extent, and that is going to be by just maximizing profits on the Xbox. Probably less good deals, less consumer-friendly behavior with the Xbox console itself. They won't care if you get off the platform. However, they still want people to buy games to some extent. They want to keep getting that 30%, because if Xbox switched off tomorrow and they were reliant on the third-party side of things, just selling their games, they wouldn't do very well. They don't have anything right now that's going to sell. Starfield, who cares? It's already come and gone. The hype's gone. Even on PS5, it's not going to move the needle that much. What they're expecting is more so the Call of Duties, the next Diablo, whatever they're doing with Warcraft, all of that sort of stuff, maybe Indiana Jones, but that's not here yet. Until that's all here and it's ready to go on PC, on consoles, they're not going to start reaping the rewards of going third party. So right now it's going to be damage control. Let people know they're going to be releasing Hi-Fi Rush and maybe a few games on other platforms, but they're going to try and sell the fact that Xbox is here to stay. Do not believe that, because it's going to be a slow shift in direction, and it's very clear that they don't care about the Xbox console. So if you play on it, my advice is don't build up your library there. If you want to play on it, whatever, but I would not keep investing in it, because one day it's just going to be impractical. And just to show you something important, there is this Discord post, and this is the best I've seen, because it seems to be a very accurate leak. There's proof in this, because it was from the 15th of January, and they correctly leaked that Indiana Jones the game would not just have the character modeled after Harrison Ford, which is true, but also would be voiced by Troy Baker. And that is just too good of a guess, I think, for this to have been fake. They didn't guess, it is a genuine insider. And what they said about Xbox in general is that they were going to announce their multi-platform plans late next month or right before the fiscal year ends. And that refers to this month, February, or the end of March. And that kind of lines up because I don't think that Phil Spencer was planning to announce what was going on sort of right now. They were going to wait, but the leaks forced their hand. Now they have to do damage control. And this person goes on to say, I guess Xbox is going fully multi-platform. And in terms of their games, they had some that were originally planned as exclusives, but they have completely been swapped for multi-platform releases. And that is very interesting. This isn't just a small decision, I would say. It seems like there is some sort of civil war going on within Microsoft, where some of the executives, they want to keep things as is and just go the Sony route of building up a great ecosystem of exclusive games, and that will increase their market share. But there's others who are thinking, hey, we spent $70 billion on Activision, we need to get a return on investment. Phil Spencer, your strategy, we're never going to make any money, we're going to be in the ground, dead and buried by the time you actually turn a profit. So we need to do something about that right now, and that is the reason for the third-party shift. It seems like it's been taken out of Phil Spencer's hands, and that is why this is happening. Going third-party games on the PS5, maybe the Switch, and so on. He goes on to say that id Software's next game is no longer an Xbox exclusive. Even Microsoft Flight Simulator will be multi-platform. Bethesda's next few games, they were originally planned as exclusive, now they aren't. And I've seen some Xbox copers suggest that Microsoft are going to take a pick and choose approach, where maybe some games will be exclusives, but others aren't. I don't believe that. Maybe they'll start with that in the beginning so it's not sort of ripping off the band-aid. They introduce this third-party concept a bit slower, but it's not going to work like that for long, because if the main motivation here is to get more money, what are they going to do? Is Elder Scrolls 6 going to stay Xbox exclusive, but Hi-Fi Rush, that not a lot of people care about, you're going to put that on PlayStation? How is that going to move the needle? You're only going to get more money from putting the big games as multi-platform. So I think anyone suggesting that, it is total cope, unless it is about reducing the backlash maybe in the first 12 months. But I truly believe that they're going fully third party. They're just going to message it carefully because they don't want to kill the brand overnight. It is going to be somewhat gradual. I also just want to mention, on the topic of Starfield, I couldn't help but laugh at this, because amongst all this mess, I wanted to see what Starfield fans were saying about this news, because most Starfield fans, they're basically Xbox fanboys. It's really the only reason that you could convince yourself the game is good, because you've tied yourself to the Xbox ecosystem. And we can see here that they're trying to call this great news. The recent Steam reviews for Starfield are now mixed instead of mostly negative. Let's celebrate, guys, because we don't have the red, mostly negative. We're at yellow, we're at mixed. This is fabulous news. Anyone who was hating on it has been disproven, because we're in the middle. We're at about 50%. Yeah, I hadn't checked on this for a while, but the fact that this is considered a positive, it kind of tells you that Xbox fans, Starfield fans, they're going through some sort of 7 stages of grief. Something else to kind of think about is what's going to happen with third parties now, like Ubisoft and EA. If they know that pretty much no one has faith in Xbox at this point, including Microsoft, they're talking about going third party. Xbox might disappear over the next few years. Maybe it'll be 5, maybe it'll be 10 years, but it could be gone. Do the Ubisofts of the world want to actually develop for the console, knowing a lot of people are going to potentially start to move their ecosystem away? Even if Xbox nail the damage control, I think there is irreparable damage, and a lot of people will start to move away no matter what they say, because we know there's truth to the rumors. Some games are going third party. Even if they stagger it, we don't get everything at once. Maybe they say, yeah, it's Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, but not Starfield just yet. People are going to see the writing on the wall and know it's just a matter of time, and they'll start building on Steam, or they'll buy a PS5. Do Ubisoft and EA care about Xbox then? Are they going to bother releasing their games there? Or are they going to accelerate this and go, you know what? Let's just keep them on the core platforms now. Let's put our games on everything except Xbox, and that will kind of be the end of the platform. That could be it. I don't know why they wouldn't consider it, because it seems like for a lot of publishers, they almost have to be convinced, or Microsoft have to pay them to release their games. That happens, I believe, with, say, Square Enix and some other publishers. So this could really hasten things. Again, I think that Microsoft are probably panicking at all of these leaks, and they're very concerned because they wanted to be the ones to tell this story and convince fans it was all going to be okay. They've been banging on for years about how it doesn't matter where players play our games, as long as we all play together, we all win. And now they're acting on that. Xbox appears to be dead as a brand. Starfield started this. It underperformed, and it's probably led to the suits just pulling the trigger and saying, Phil, Xbox, your plan's not working. Game Pass is a joke. It devalues games. Now that we've spent $70 billion on Activision Blizzard, we need to see some profit. So the games are going to be sprinkled out everywhere, and who knows where to from here for Xbox fans. But thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.